Are we up? Audio okay, video okay. Up and running, I think. Sharpening first. Mix of stuff today. We've got some, if there's time, we'll be doing some carving towards the end of the stream. The front of the stream, we're going to be fixing prints. I got a batch of prints yesterday from the Door Hunger Company, and we have to, no water. And we have to clean them. They're from Itakura-san, and because of that, they're extremely dirty. So we have to clean some prints first, and then we'll do some carving. I forgot to put on the spy cam for the door. Hang on a sec. There we go. Paper is out. Yes, thank you very much. 2 sheets, 2 packs are out today. One for Sugu-san doing the April subscription print, and one from Dei-chan. She's still doing some yokai back numbers. Paper is out. Today's a Wednesday morning. If all goes well, Cameron should be dropping by here in a half an hour or so. He and I were here yesterday, and we got a ton of work done. With the shutter closed. Lots of changes too. Aoyama-san was here in the shop. He worked in the bathroom. We finally have shelves for the toilet paper. Like anybody cares. It's a big break. This thing broke last time I was using it. I don't know if you noticed it actually. When I was carving the other day, some of that calligraphy I was clearing up a bit too heavily, and the tip broke quite heavily. Just about like 1 or 2 minutes before the end of the stream. And I think nobody noticed, I think. Yeah, you joke about shelves for toilet paper, but if they're not there, we get in trouble, and that's what happened one day last week. We have a double toilet roll thing, of course, same as everybody, and there's toilet rolls they were in a box on the floor hidden away, and it's just the worst possible bad timing. I know, there were some people here for a print party, and one of the kids went in the toilet. Little girl, about 8 years old or something, I don't know. And she's in there, and we hear this plaintive, "Mommy." You know the rest of the story. Right? So we figured it's time to get the shelves finished. So. This was really broken. About 2 millimeters were gone from this thing. Emerald City Comic Con, that must have been Jed, I guess. I'm not sure. Was it Jed or was it one of his assistants? I don't know. Excuse me for my ignorance. Where's Emerald City? I don't know. Jed had told me he was going to be out on the weekend for a Comic Con, but sometimes he's got some friends that also do them, so, you know, when there's more than one con on any given weekend. Emerald City, I don't know where that is. Seattle, yeah, that's where he said he was going, Seattle. So that must have been Jed that was there. It wasn't me, it was Jed, the guy who designs the prints, of course. A bit genteel, I don't think that was noisy out there today. Okay, should do us. The guy with 2 luggage, was it the same person? I don't think so, surely not. I don't keep track of this, but that must have just been a tourist heading for his hotel. Most of these mornings you see people heading from left to right. Those are people coming from the Tsukuba Express train station heading towards the center of the district. So they're people who are going to work. And when we usually see people going by with luggage, they're heading to the left here, because just over near us are 2 major hotels. The Richmond Hotel, Richmond International, the Asakusa Grand View Hotel. There's hotels everywhere in the district, but there's a big batch of them over the left. And not many people come from the airport from the Tsukuba Express station, which is to our left. They come from the airport to the Asakusa subway station, which is to our right. So you'll see commuters going left to right here, and you'll see tourists at this time of day going right to left. People who have arrived on an early morning flight and are heading for their hotels. Okay, we've got an edge on our blade now, but we're not going to be carving wood for the first bunch of this morning's session here. We're going to be carving paper. Okay, what do I need? I need a backboard for support. So we'll use this block. And let's start digging. Some of these prints are going to be in worse condition than others. For those of you who haven't seen this before, what we've got here, these are prints from the Doi Hanga Company, and it's a really mixed story. We've got prints in our shop here from the Doi Hanga Company. We borrow the blocks, rent the blocks, and we make prints ourselves here, and we sell them in the shop and pay Doi Hanga a rental for the blocks. There's also another part of it where Doi Hanga has some prints left over that were printed in the 1970s and 1980s and early 1990s. Actually, I've got some of those here. We'll see them in a minute. There's also a third batch of prints now that we woke up the Doi Hanga people a couple of years ago, and now they want to print everything in their whole catalog all over again. We can't do that for them. We don't possibly have the printing skills here to do that, the laborers here. So they've started to send their old blocks out now to other printers in town. And most printers in town are really busy these days, and there's not too many people left with the skills to do these. They've latched onto one older guy called Itokura-san. He's older than me. He's been printing since the year dot. He's a pretty good craftsman. He can do a pretty good job when you hold his feet to the fire. When you don't, he's really careless. And the first prints that Doi Hanga made with him that came back to us, we basically had to say, sorry, look, we can't put those in our shop because that's nowhere near the level of work that we want to do. So they went back to him, they've pushed him a bit harder, and they're getting good results. They are really now nicely made. The gradations are clean and clear. There's no goma speckle all over the place. But there is one thing that he will not cooperate on. He wants to work as fast as possible, and he doesn't care about the margins. So all the prints that come back from Itokura, there's his name, Itakura. The carver is Harada, who died years ago. He carved this print on this bench. This is Itokura-san, the printer, and he always makes a hell of a mess around the margins of the print, even up here, stuff like this. And we've complained and we've talked, and he just, whatever, he will not cooperate. So we're going to clean up these to the degree that I can. I can't take off all the mess. I won't be able to make this clean and clear white paper, but I will try and get rid of some of the darkest blobs. This one's not bad. We're going to see some scary stuff in a minute. So that's my job for the first half hour or the first hour this morning, because these have to get up and into the shop this afternoon. If I get that done, I'll move on to some actual real wood chopping work. And we've also got a bunch of new prints today. Well, whatever, we'll just go through them one by one. We've seen some of these before. We've had them in our shop for a long time. There are also some new faces here today. Okay, enough talk. Let's get with it. Of course, I'll need the sculptor because I got to get down deep and close here. Need the light. Let's zoom in. It's just carelessness, no? Just carelessness. Part of it is because he's an older guy and he doesn't think, it's kind of like me too, he doesn't think these prints should be framed and stuff. He thinks they're just objects that should be enjoyed and looked at. And whether the margins have marks on them or not is irrelevant to him. And luckily for us, these marks are just smudged on the top of the paper. They're not printed deeply. If they were hit with the baron and printed on, then there's no way we could do this because the color goes down deep into the body of the paper. But because there's just a light smudge on top of the paper, we can do this. See what we've done here? I've got my sharp knife. I've just shaved off the tiny top layer of the washi paper, and it's gone. And if I go back and come away a minute later, I will never be able to even find the place I did that. So this is not the repairing that you sometimes see me do on my own prints when we take away the bark that's still in the paper. This is actual ink on top of the surface. Let's see, can we get this one off? Here we go, look at that, there we are. That's because the paper has some thickness and the smudge was just on top. Well, the speckled texture that you see it in Yoshida prints because they liked to do that. You'll see it in the Watanabe prints. They're publishing all the old Hasui blocks. They're printing carelessly. Too quick printing, too much water, not enough paste. Just rushed, careless work and leave those speckled smudges. Look at Gomazuri, sesame seed printing. I don't have an example for you here to show you because I don't have any here. But it's dots and dots and dots and dots and dots. And the easy way to do it is to put lots of water on the block, not enough paste, and just be careless. And all the new Hasui prints from Watanabe Company are all Gomazuri. They just don't care. Or they think it looks like them, you know. It looks cool. It doesn't look cool, it's a mess. There's places where it belongs. Many of the Yoshida prints are done with Gomazuri as part of the actual texture of what they were trying to do, the effect. But it has no place in these Kotsu and Hasui prints. Okay. It's a total waste of my time, you know, doing this. Sure is effective. Goodness. Shaving. And this is the place where most of the damage comes, in the corner itself. He puts his thumb on here, of course, to push the paper into place. So some of these are not just smudges, some of these are pressed in with a thumb and they won't come out because they're quite deep. So we'll just try and get the surface here of a couple of these biggest ones. I'll tell you about better things to do with my time. So it's 2,500 yen, 25,000 yen complaining. My God, these are bargains, you know, at this price. These are bargains. There isn't half a dozen people, literally now, there isn't half a dozen people in this country who can make a print like this, who can print it. You can just name them on one hand. The number of people who have this kind of skill left. We sell these prints in two places. Now. We do them here in the shop, and we also have them in our online catalog. And if we were only doing prints in the shop, I really wouldn't have to do this. Because what happens with the prints in the shop, they're sitting here, we pack them in a way that all the margins are visible. We don't hide the margins. Oh, this is a new one. They've had this reprinted from the old box. Here we are. This is a new one coming back. This hasn't been published in decades. Let's zoom out. Here's a new one coming in. I know I had too many conversations. I know if we were just selling prints in the shop and not online, I wouldn't need to do this. The prints sit in the shop, people can see what they're getting, and it's their choice. They can see it, they can chat about the staff, why there's broken stuff in the margins, and stuff like that. The problem comes with the online sales. We scan one of these, put it in the catalog, people order it, they open the package and there's crap like this, and they complain. It isn't what I ordered, it's dirtier than whatever, stuff like that, which I get. I'm not angry about that. It's frustrating. So we have to clean these for the online sale, because people really get upset when they order a print and it turns out to have all this kind of garbage on it. So what we'll do here, you just saw me, I just finished two of that last one. One is a little bit cleaner, one's a little bit dirtier. The cleanest one is going to go in our stock for online, and the dirtier one will go in the shop. This is not something evil, this is just the way it has to be done. The people ordering online don't have a chance to choose for themselves. So I have to choose for them. Where am I? Yeah, some people don't care about it, some people do. Yeah. Okay, what do we got? This is a new one. This is a Hasui print, published by the Doi Hunger Company. This hasn't been available for decades and decades and decades. It's, I don't know the English title, it's Fuji no Yukibare. Fuji is Mount Fuji, of course, Yukibare. I know snow, sunshine. I know sunshine on bright snow. I know. And honestly speaking, I don't really actually think that looks too much like Mount Fuji. This is the same view of Mount Fuji. We have a print in our catalog called Fuji from Tago no Ura, Fuji from Tago Bay. If you Google up on mokohankan.com, look for Fuji from Tago Bay, you can see the same view. This is from the seaside. It's the same absolute view. They got the same tree at the side and the same bay, Tago Bay. And on the other print, there's Mount Fuji, and there's the bump from the 1710 eruption. It's called Hiezan. There's a bump on Mount Fuji that's visible from this area, this angle, and that's caused by an eruption in, I think it was 1710, early years of the 1700s, early part of 1700s, when Edo was fairly brand new. Edo was just starting, late 1600s, early 1700s, and this eruption, according to the records, it blew ash and just covered the place. And if that happened again now, it would be not game over for the town, but there would be ash, and all the electrical wires would go down. The trains would be dead for months. This was a big, spectacular deal. I think it's called the Hiezan eruption on Mount Fuji. You can Google it and get more information. 1707. Somebody says John is here. So anyway, you can see it. You can't see it when you look at Fuji from the train. When you go by on the Shinkansen, you don't notice it. But if you find that particular spot in Tago Bay, you can see that bump. Anyway, do these need surgery? Let's see. Yeah, there's a little bit here I can take off. There's no big deal. These are not so bad. I'm not going to muck with them too much. Too much danger. I can see we're not going to get a whole lot of work done today. But anyway, whatever. Let's just go through it. I've got to get them into the shop. No, I'm not going to muck with this too much. This is what I have to do. Nice print, nice print. Should we zoom back in? Sorry. No, I don't think I'm going to play with this at all. That's okay. That's clean enough. Well, surgery scars. What's worse, a tiny surgery scar which doesn't really show unless you get under a microscope, or a big blue dot of pigment? Which would we rather have here, you know? Yes, I mean, here's a perfect example. I can get rid of these almost invisibly. There's other parts of fixing prints that we don't do, you know, that other companies do. There's another way to take care of these black dots, and that's you get some whiteout fluid. And that's done in this business. We don't ever do that here. My printers know that if I ever caught them doing such a thing, they'd be fired in a second. We never paint anything on the front of our prints, ever. But that's done. Sexton used to do that all the time. When you got a blot, you know, if you don't have a microscope and skill with a knife, what are you going to do? You get that white fluid and dab it on. So there's nobody on the planet that's going to notice that. a nice one. Bleach, my God, the last thing I'd want to do is put bleach on these sheets of paper. That's going to be in there forever. This is beautiful washi, you know, there's nothing in there. There's nothing else but the raw mulberry fiber itself. These sheets are going to last for literally hundreds of years. We've talked about that a long time. I have no idea what would happen over time if you dab a batch of bleach on this. I wouldn't even dream of doing that. Look at this. He's done okay, you know. The guy can do the job. This is what's frustrating about this. Look at the beautiful job he's done. Beautiful, beautiful, smooth color. And yet it's spoiled by all these little specks and dots all over the place. This is what's frustrating about it. Because he's thinking they're going to mat it and hide it anyway, so it doesn't matter. Christ. This is the frustrating thing. To come this far, to come this close, you know. Isn't it cool? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful design. We're still struggling with this, you know. Me and Jed are dabbling in a Shinhanga mood this year. The prints we're making this year, you know, we're doing number 4 now. It's got dark and it's got light. We're dabbling in it. We're trying to figure out how we can. Well, there's the lady who runs the shop across the street, the bag lady, the bag shop. She sells handbags and stuff. She'll be opening at 7 o'clock, 10 o'clock, a couple of hours from now. We're dabbling in Shinhanga, and I think if we keep it up, we've got a small experiment going this year with 4 pieces of wood for each print, limited number of impressions. This is like 20 or 30. The ones Jed and I are doing this year are, you know, 8 and 9. But we're learning. We're learning how to do this. The printers upstairs are learning how to do this. And if we keep it up, that experiment we're doing this year with the Japan Journey series, hopefully we'll see the flowering of a bunch more real fabulous prints coming over the next few years. We'll see. And the real, I don't know, cool thing about it from our point of view, we hadn't really expected this. That sort of semi-experimental series we're doing this year has been really accepted in the marketplace. We're totally sold out to 200. We have a waiting list now of nearly another 100 people waiting to get those prints. Yeah, that was pressed a little bit too hard this one. If they're just on the surface, it's okay, but if I have to dig too far, it makes it pointless. do they? There's the door closing. I think that's Susan. She's going up the stairs behind me. She's almost finished her batch of the April print. Oh, that one came off really nicely. What's going on over here? Yeah, it's mostly a key block. It's the key block of the dark colors for the most part. Yeah, interesting. Those are the ones where he has to really put a lot of actual physical stuff onto the block, brush it out. And also with the key block, you really, really have to move fast. You can't muck around to go delicately and dibble here and dapple there. You've got to go bang, 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 bang. These are Mukuita key blocks. They're not plywood blocks. They're solid wood blocks. They expand as you go. If you're doing a run of 60 prints or 100 prints, the key block expands once you start hitting it with water. So you want to be done with the key impression as fast as you possibly can. So there's no way he can spend time. You know, we would do it. We'd get. You've seen Subisat. She gets a little metal thing. She hides it and whatever. And some of it is carving that should be fixed. If you get a couple of these prints, you'll see like this. You'll see a dot in sort of the same place on each block. Actually, those aren't. Those are not in the same place. But if you see a dot in the same place, one here and one here, it's a place that should be carved out. And these are different dots. He's let the paper flop over the side of the block. Look at this difference. This is not carving problem. This is printing problem. He's just working really fast and really carelessly. Anyway, just get busy, Dave. Don't complain, don't complain, don't complain. Get through this. Come on, excuse me. But my God, they're beautiful prints. Beautiful, beautiful prints. Yeah, these are the same paper. These are Iwano-san's paper. This is paper made by Iwano Ichibe. The paper they're using for these ones right here is a little thicker than what we ordered. Because these are designed, the paper is ordered for the Shin-Haga prints, and they know the layering is going to go on 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. The paper they ordered from Iwano-san really, really, really quite heavy and thick paper. A bit heavier and thicker than what we get from most of our own prints. And this thing we're doing this year with Jed, with the Japan Journey series, if we continue making more prints in that line, then we're going to have to put an order in with Iwano-san for some heavier paper. But paper that thick is not so suitable for ukiyo-e printing, and this is a bit of a problem for us then. The Doi people here, they are just doing Shin Hanga work. There's no ukiyo-e work in the Doi Hanga catalog. So they could just order one type of paper, thick, heavy paper like this. But we have lots and lots of different kind of work. So we'll need to be ordering a larger variety of paper from Iwano-san. Thick paper for the Japan Journey prints and thinner paper for the ukiyo-e work. It's more expensive, of course, when you order the paper from Iwano-san. The price you get charged is based on a couple of things. One is the physical dimensions of the paper, how large it is. They actually sort of have a price per square centimeter that they have. But then if you order it really quite thick, of course, to make it thick, they just have to add more and more fiber. You know, they've got to dip the thing into the vat 5 times instead of 3 times, or whatever it is, however they do it. So there's physically more fiber here. So of course the production cost goes up in relation to the thickness of the paper you want. So the price changes. So of course it's more expensive. It may not be actually that more difficult to make. I think the thin papers sometimes for them are the ones that are the most difficult to make, difficult to rock. Here's the day's first. How are you doing, sir?
Back you.
Surgery today. Surgery. We got the Monday afternoon.
Monday? Yeah.
Sorry. I don't know.
Okay.
I'll be passing over, so grab another chair for those things or something.
It's warming up. My coat.
It is indeed. So I came down from upstairs.
coats.
Yeah. I don't think we'll need the heater in the shop today at all. So.
Beautiful day.
And we're booked. Print parties are booked absolutely solid. So
Yeah.
not room for anybody.
Yeah. Wow.
Joe, I'll move it up here then. Okay, good.
The camera was set pointing straight outside.
Yeah, that's what I did. I do that most mornings before you get here.
Oh, okay.
We
Watch for.
just watch people walking by. Yeah, watch people going by. So.
Cool.
Okay, we're gonna try turning the camera.
Computer.
No, we don't. Oh, you do. We do need to do it because you're gonna be able to see the
type and
keyboard.
read,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. I'm still confused with what we're actually doing. For those of you who are new here, we have to turn the laptop, as you can see, and sometimes the internet connection goes down. So if the thing disappears for a minute, don't panic. It'll come back in
A minute.
a minute.
It usually takes.
Have we got room to turn there?
There's
I'll take
an
the other
envelope
side.
of some sort here. Just. Oh, no.
Oh, actually, the people were sitting on the envelope. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Still green. Still green. I think we're okay.
Did we make it?
Cue Jaws theme music.
Gong, 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 gong. Okay.
I think we made it.
All right, good. Okay, I'll get back to my little work here.
Has your light diffusion flask ever gotten moldy?
Yes, and in fact, I probably shouldn't talk about this.
But it's almost time
Look inside.
to change things out, isn't it?
No, we changed it in New Year. I went to the shrine.
Oh,
on
you did it
January
at New
1st.
Year.
I went at New Year and got really clean, fresh water. But the gods know
Yeah.
that I don't
Hi,
believe in
guys.
them.
No.
The gods know. They know that I don't believe in them, and they said, "Okay, we're going to fool this guy. The flask has already started to get moldy. I don't know if we can
Yeah.
see it.
No. Just a little bit.
Whatever.
At the bottom.
There is green stuff growing in the bottom, and it's only March.
Yeah.
So clearly, I didn't do the right form of obeisance, and I'm going to have to do it again.
Dun dun dun.
So, hang my head in shame.
We also have really clean water from the tap.
Yep. So, yep. There is a way to get around this. Yeah. So.
You should put a lazy Susan under that laptop. And spin it around.
Yeah, turning it's not the problem. It's the wires that stick out the side. Yeah.
Do you clean it with bleach or anything? Someone else.
We're talking about the paper.
Put a couple drops
Oh,
of
yeah,
bleach
yeah, I guess
into
it
the
would
water.
make sense. Yeah, so I mean, I was trying to be the cool guy by doing it the traditional way. You
Yeah.
know, all that stuff. And what happened, I just didn't clean it carefully enough. I just swirled it around and threw it out onto
Yeah.
the gravel ground. And I didn't clean it enough before putting the new water back in.
Yeah.
And so we were a bit stressed for time, and there was a shrine guy there
Ah.
who was hanging around and watching me, so I couldn't really get too involved there.
Fill it with sake and put a straw in it.
How long would it last then? Yeah.
Which shrine do you go to? Is it Asakusa
I just went
Jinja?
to, no, I went to Sensoji.
Oh, okay.
It's not a shrine. It's a kind of a really sort of a bastardized place. And it's a temple actually.
Yeah.
But people treat it like a shrine. You know, it's both.
Yeah.
Next
So
to-
much of Japanese religion is mixed
Yeah,
between
it really
Shinto
is
and
mixed
Buddhism.
blended, yeah. And right next to it is Asakusa Jinja, which is hidden, literally hidden in the shadow of Sensoji.
Yeah.
They must be really kind of bitter about that order. They're the people that started it.
Yeah.
It all started with Asakusa Shrine, and then at some point, I think it was the Tokugawa family, whatever, sponsored the starting of a temple there. I don't know the details of the history.
The festival, that was a couple days ago. Oh, yeah, I need to
That was
share some
Asakusa
videos.
Shrine, yeah.
Right, it was Asakusa Shrine, and they said it was the celebration of finding that statue of Kannon-sama, even though Kannon is a Buddhist deity. Because
This is where the blending gets happens. Yeah.
And they say they found it in 653 AD or something like that. So that shrine at least has been around for over 1,000, well over 1,000 years, according to legend. Who knows? But it's interesting.
It's a nice story.
It's a nice story, yeah. What will be the price of this print? The sakura trees with the lights.
Well, all the
Thinking.
Doihanga Obans are set by the Doihanga company now at 25,000 yen.
Yeah.
So this is in the shop, and it'll be online in a dollar format, but it's slightly
And includes insurance and shipping.
So, but as far as we can get them organized, they're the same price online and in the shop, with the qualification that we don't change them every day as the dollar and yen goes up. You know, so if you happen to be in Asakusa standing here, get online and check, and then 10 minutes later check and see what the dollar yen is to get the cheapest way.
Yeah.
But no, they're basically the same price, 25,000 yen in the shop.
Mm-hmm.
Slightly more than that in the online catalog, because that includes shipping and insurance.
I was processing orders in the shop, or from Square Register, putting them into our system upstairs a couple days ago. And I thought there are Benkebashi images from Numabe-san, as well as
there are five prints
called
Benkebashi.
Oh.
So in our
So I was trying to find the right one.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
found it, but I was very confused.
No, I remember one is right there, the little one.
Yeah, the little one, I
That's
know.
Doihanga blocks, postcard size. This one is Doihanga blocks, Oban size. Benkebashi is a famous place, so
Yeah.
lots of people did it. I know Toshi Yoshida
Yeah.
did it. There's one in there. And then what's the other one? We've got any number of flea markets
Yep.
that are the same,
same place,
the same
yeah.
design. So yeah, be careful, please. And it was also too. There was one episode. This was where the barcode reader went down,
Yeah.
and the staff had to punch it in. Of course, they got the wrong one,
Yeah.
and someone had picked this one, and the staff, unknowing, had punched in the Namabe one, which was 18,000
Yeah.
instead of 25,000.
Oh, no.
So we took a bath on that one.
Yeah, quite a discount that day. Is the flask a traditional way to diffuse the light? Yeah.
Yes, it is. And
How long has it?
I don't know. Easy answer is Meiji, because if you go back into Edo period, there was not a lot of whole selection of different glassware around.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point, I think this is Western influenced stuff. So it's an open question, because
Yeah.
none of it was documented.
Would it have been candles on the other side,
Well,
or
this is an interesting
lanterns of
question.
some
So,
kind?
Because when you have a light, a really soft light source like a candle or whatever, stuff
Yeah.
like that, you don't need it as a diffuser, because the
Right.
light is generally all flickering and
Diffused,
diffused anyway. So I think that this came in, it was required once they started using electric lights, or maybe there was a gas light situation in Meiji Japan. I don't know.
Yeah.
None of this is documented. I don't know.
Okay.
If you've got your bench in a south window in a workshop, so this daylight comes through,
Yeah.
which is what they must have done in the old days, and you can't use this because the sun hits it, and guess what? It burns holes in your print. You know, your
Yeah.
block, of course. So it acts as a lens. So there's no way this could have been used in conjunction with natural south-facing light.
Yeah.
If they were working on a north window, then okay, no problem. There you go. So I really don't know whether it was used to magnify a smaller light or group of candles at the back and to magnify that, or whether it's used as the way we do it now, not to magnify the light, but to diffuse the light. It's an open question.
Interesting.
And if you go like Hokusai manga and stuff, he's got, you know, rough images of people carving and stuff. And there's one famous one in there in the Hokusai manga with a carver waving his mallet in the air. He's got these funny little tiny round glasses. And this is like from 1830, whatever it is,
Yeah.
Hokusai manga 1834. So there are people using some kind of lenses at that point already. But none of the images in the old ukiyo-e prints, none of them show a flask like this. So it makes sense. I think it was something they had seen once the Western influence was here and once the Western glassware was here. And there's a twist on it in that there are lots of images in older books from Europe about wood engravers working. This is in the Western tradition, making the illustrations that went in Western newspapers in the middle 1800s and stuff. And these were wood engravings, people working on the end grain of wood. And they're using a little flat down glasses and stuff, and they are using a flask like this as a lens. They are here, the flask is there, and the carving is behind the flask, and they are using the flask as an actual physical lens to magnify it.
Interesting.
And there are images of guys doing that.
Yeah.
And this is, you know, cutting stuff for like I said, newspaper illustrations in the 1800s, whatever. And I could easily imagine somebody over here seeing an image like that in a Western book that was coming out of Japan in Meiji time and saying, "Whoa, let's get into this," and then either misunderstanding it or adapting it for whichever use was required here. This is faint, but it's way widespread. I can't easily scrape that off without digging a giant hole, so I think I got to leave that one. So.
That's relevant to someone's question saying, while you're pulling off parts of the paper, hold on just a moment. They had a question also about this, sorry. But when you're pulling it off, is there a danger of going too deep? Like you just said, yes.
So I'm not going to zero here. I'm peeling off the darkest, blackest dots that are not pressed deep in.
Yeah.
Maybe you've got that one actually. That should perhaps have come off.
And then they also want to get a closer look at the sky on this one because it's really interesting.
Right, in a second. Let me take off this one dot here. Sorry. So large fuzzy areas, there's nothing I can do here with this. But short, sharp dots I can do. I think it's a question of time, how much I can spend on each one.
Right.
Starting to zoom out, am I?
Yeah, just...
This is in Ueno Park. It doesn't look like this anymore, but...
yeah. Instead of nice pagodas and trees in the background, it's skyscrapers. But...
Am I here? This is Tsuchiya Koitsu, the third man in the famous Shinhanga world.
Yeah.
Just turn them off for a second if you want.
Okay,
just pop them off. There's two of them.
I got one of them.
They should be stacked up. One's Major Tooth on your hand.
That's it. There we go.
Nobody wants to see you, can it?
Yeah.
Well, should we run through the whole stack we've got here right now? Just pass them over to me one by one. This is the prints that were in the catalog. It's Ueno Shinobazu Pond. This is Itakura-san, and Hontoni, they've really put his feet to the fire. You know.
Yeah, he's printing really nice.
He is really printing nicely. I'm very, very pleased. One we had a few minutes ago was Benkei-bashi, the Benkei Bridge. And this is also Tsuchiya Koitsu. These are, what's the date on here? I don't know. I'm doing my glasses. I can't tell you. This is Showa 8. So I don't remember Showa 8, 1930 something. Whatever.
6 maybe.
Let's do it again. Showa 26 is 1951.
Okay.
So Showa 8 is how long before Showa 26, do some quick math, it's 18 years.
years
So
before
take 18
51.
off 51, 41, 31, 33,
Yep.
1933.
Okay.
Again, 1933 is when the blocks were carved.
Yeah.
The first prints were made. This is a recent printing, recent as in last week,
Yeah.
whatever. So what am
I can have that one back.
I'm
Put it
going to
into
pass that
stock.
back to you. Okay, is that
Next
we're going to do
one.
this here? Okay. And this is a new one. A new one to us. We are having this in our catalog for the first time. This is the one Fuji no Yukibare. We're probably going to call it bright snow on Mount Fuji or something.
Yeah.
And this is from Tago Bay.
Oh, okay.
Fuji from Tago Bay.
Fuji from Taco Bay, winter.
Yeah. So. And that's in our catalog for the first time. Then coming up, let me just get pictures here.
New item, it says at the top. Yeah.
Okay, now, some of the other ones here, so that this other one is a repeat. We've had this in our catalog regularly. It's the Kagurasaka image of Koitsu, not the one from Noet. We have this all the time.
Right.
Again, a fresh printing from this. Then we have, what else? Oh, you know what this one is, of course. Rain at Miyajima.
I know Miyajima.
This is Tsuchiya Koitsu again, the B rank.
Okay.
Shinaga designer, C rank behind Hasui and Yoshida. This is Asakusa, here we go.
This Kinryuzan.
Asakusa Kinju-san, which is, and this is the old pagoda in the old position. It's burned down in 1945, reconstructed in the late 50s in a different location. There's another one, Asakusa. This is not Koitsu, this is our French friend, Mr. Noel Moet, and I have real mixed feelings about this. It's an interesting woodblock print, but I don't get what he's done with the perspective.
Yeah.
We're looking at the large gate. This is the Neomon gate before the war. This burned down and got replaced with a different gate. It's Ozomon gate now. And there were people down there, small people, but what are these? I don't get it. This is actually an elevated area. And we're standing up on a more elevated area looking down at the pathway below.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, I don't think this guy has got even remotely close with the way the perspective works. You know?
I wonder if there really were lanterns that size back then.
Well, no, the thing is, you're standing close to the lantern. If a person was standing,
Oh,
the
the
person would be
lantern.
this big. This is standing on the elevated area, and that area there is down below. But it doesn't look like that.
No, it doesn't
It's
look
totally
like that at all.
incompetent drawing. I mean, I don't get this guy at all. Whatever, European
So
people.
the lantern's not right next to that yatai.
No,
that-
not at all. Not at all. There's a not a cliff.
A drop off there.
You know, so.
Huh. Interesting.
This does not go from here to here.
Yeah.
Anyway, now what is of more interest is this. When Kozu-san came on Monday, Kozu-san is the man who married the lady who is the granddaughter of the Doi Hunger Company.
Okay.
So her name would have been Doi
Got
when
it.
she was born, but she married a guy called Mr. Kozu, and so the Kozu-san
Right.
and his wife now inherited the company. And they have gone into the storeroom and found a bunch of the blocks for Kachoga.
Huh.
And we knew they were in there, and we were sort of waiting one day when Ayumi-san had got good enough. She didn't get pregnant, and it just went the wrong way, and we weren't able to do them. But these are now, and they've got two kinds. They've got ones that they're sending out to Itakura-san,
Okay.
and they have found a whole bunch left over printed by Seki-san. The Seki-san died in 1996, 1997. He ran his motorbike in the back of a car. So these are left over from Seki-san. And he followed instructions. He did not. He does it the way we do it. He had
Nice.
pride, and he does all around the border. So we see these things. There's still a mess here, which is exactly where it went into the registration marks, which
Yeah.
is par for the course. But there's no
Extra messes.
extraneous mess anyway.
Yeah.
So these are going to go into our catalog starting, like, if I get time for it this afternoon.
Cool.
And there's a whole bunch new. And the reason they went digging for these is the NHK program on Ohara Koson
Ah, yeah.
that came out.
That's been generating
and
lots of
the whole
interest.
town has gone nuts. The whole country has gone nuts. We get phone calls. It's not daily. That's a stupid thing to say. We get phone calls and people writing
Regularly.
letters. Where do you have any Ohara Koson prints? Can I come
I'm
get
getting emails too.
yeah. And I'm sorry. No. It's Watanabe, Ginza Watanabe, that has most of those blocks, of course.
Okay.
But Koso-san did publish, and Shosan Kosan, whichever name you want to use, he did publish with different people. And the country has gone nuts for them. And anybody, they go on Yahoo Auction, that would have gone for like 20,000 yen months ago. Now goes for 10 times that, 200,000 yen. It's just
Holy
insane.
cow.
But it's generated a whole new bunch of interest in Shinhanga Kachoga as a genre. So they went straight back to their benches and benches and cupboards to find what they could find.
Yeah.
And we've got some. And these will be going into the catalog later this
Very
afternoon.
nice.
They're a bit trite. I mean, this is an outward absolute copy of, it's not line for line copy. It's a conceptual copy of stuff that Hiroshige was doing in the 1840s and 50s and
Yeah.
60s. And they've just done it again and called it Shinhanga. So there's nothing new or creative or interesting about this.
Yeah.
But they're pretty attractive images. This is not 16, this is Hamada-san. He's been dead so long. I came here, when did I come? In 1986. I met him then, watched him work a little bit. I don't know when he died, but these guys are long gone. All these printers are dead. Carvers are dead. This is Harada-san again. This would have been carved on this
this?
bench. This is so good.
Wow, what a blue sky. That's an unusual color, isn't it?
I do not like this.
I didn't think so, but
I don't
it's-
like this myself.
But it's interesting.
this
You
is
don't see
excellent.
this kind of color very
No,
often.
he's using, what did he use? He must have used a blend of what they call Gunjo, ultramarine,
Right.
and he's thrown in the color called Shimbashi. And it's interesting. It's an interesting color.
Did you use a similar thing for the buds, the flowers here? Is
Yeah,
it
maybe.
in
It's
close
quite
color?
similar, isn't it? Maybe
Yeah.
he's too lazy to make something else. Or the original may have been like that. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know the original. We could look on ukiyo.org and chase it up. But it's not to my taste, but it's beautiful. And what's really to my taste is he's done a beautiful job. They
Yeah.
are printed very nicely,
Yes.
very tastefully.
Smooth
and very
colours.
carefully. Smooth colors, yeah. And this is on good paper.
Do they get their paper the same place we do?
Yeah, it's one. It was coming up in the stream earlier. It's Iwanasan's paper. This is Iwanasan's paper from a generation ago.
Yeah.
So it's real nice. But even the modern ones are doing with Itakura-san. They're ordering from Iwanasan, and they're ordering much thicker than we do. Much thicker than we do.
Because they do so many impressions on top of each other.
Exactly. So, and our paper has to work for Shinhanga. It also has to work for ukiyo. And if we got paper this thick, the printers would just go on strike. No, it's not suitable for ukiyo. It's really difficult to get a single color deep and rich and smooth without printing it with multiple impressions.
Got it.
This is Seki again. It's Harada carving and Seki printing. Those guys really put it together.
Yeah.
And some of them, they're a bit, is this bizarre or whatever? It's in the Hiroshige Hokusai tradition.
Yeah.
Hokusai and Hiroshige did those things where the birds sort of dive bombing birds and then twisted in different flying poses.
Yeah.
They've really screwed this one up in terms of putting the stamp on. Look at that.
Huh.
This is a rare combination. This is Endo Carver and Ito Printer, and I had no idea that Doi Hanga had used those guys. Do you remember we got an auction a while ago, half a year ago, for some giant double Oban prints? They're classical ukiyo reproductions in double Oban size.
Okay.
And they were made by this combination, Endo San Carver and Ito Printer. And I had no idea that Doi used these. And when Kozu-san was here on Monday, I said, "Oh my God, those guys work for you?" And he said, "Like, who are they?" Because of course he knows nothing about this.
Right.
He's the man who married the piano teacher lady who inherited this stuff.
Yeah.
So he's on a learning curve to try and learn about these.
Yeah. Someone asked about, is it any harder to do or print the sky versus the reflections? But it's same process
No,
either
same
way,
process,
right?
same
Okay.
process. Yeah.
Then-
Some of them, the reflections there are more overlaid. There are more different layers. You have to be careful when you start.
Right.
Here's one from Eric. Look at this eagle. Wow, this is printed nicely again. This is your old. Look at this. Yokoi. There's something still in.
Carved
Cameron.
by Harada-san too. But
Cameron, this is one of these is coming into our collection. Period. Yokoi.
Okay.
This is the place where Seki-san learned how to do his printmaking. Yokoi.
Wow.
You never, ever. These are just a minute. Excuse me. Hide them.
Hide these.
These are really. I mean, seriously. He has no idea what he's got there. He has no idea what he's got. Oh, and we have an owl.
An owl.
And I had no idea this.
Start the timer.
This is Koitsu.
The
I
count.
guess it's in Koitsu's catalog. And this is interesting because the pre-war version and the post-war version are different. The pre-war version has a crescent moon. And when I saw him bring this the other day, I didn't know about this. When I saw him bring this, I said, wait a minute. I've seen that design, but this is something different. So we went to Doi-san's catalog raison of Tsuchi Koitsu's work, and it has a crescent moon. But there they are, the post-war blocks, touched up and replaced by Harada. It has a round full moon. Why did they change that? I have no idea. The blocks are there. This is Sexan. He's dead now. They changed it from a crescent moon to a full moon.
Huh.
And I don't know that it's, well, either one would be a bit, I don't know, hokey. You know, I mean, what have you done? There's an owl and a moon, and it's a bit cliched, but whatever. It's a beautiful object. Hunting, it's a beautiful object. So anyway, we have a bunch of new stuff going into the catalog. A bunch of new stuff going in the catalog. And they're all going to go in at 1.5. I asked him, what's the price on all these things? And he says 1.5.
Okay.
Translated, it means Ichimango yen, 15,000 yen. And yeah, I think that's a fair price for these. These are printed by Sexan. He's gone, the paper's gone. There's never going to be prints made like this. Eventually, I guess these blocks are going to go to Itokura-san. And we'll see a new, messier version come to life.
A new messier.
I also asked him, he brought 2 of each of these over for me. So I asked him, how many have you got in those drawers? Because I was basically ready to say, look, just bring me
them
everything you've got.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to do that. He wants to dribble them out bit by bit by bit. He has the idea that if he puts too many on the market at the same time, it's going to devalue them. And that's not what's happening. It's not what's happening. I don't care if he's got 100 of those or 2 of those. It's the same value, you know. If he had 100, it wouldn't devalue them at all. But same price on them, it's okay. They will, you know, they will sell over the next few years. But part of it is too, he doesn't want to sell out of everything right in 1 minute, because then next year they got nothing, because it's going to take years to build up a stock on these things.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that group can go straight to you. There's no cleaning. These are made by Sexan, so they don't clean. I've got to make labels for them. They'll go into the catalog. I'm now confused about what I'm doing here. I've made a mess here. No way. So this goes over to you. This is Sexan. Doesn't need any cleaning. Over to your stack there. So I'll get back to my cleaning. Here we are. This one does need cleaning.
How many prints would he have to devalue them?
I don't know. You tell me. You are the market. The people asking the questions are the market. For me, we can't make them again at that quality level. So that's a limiting factor right there.
Yeah.
I don't know. The whole market for prints these days in Tokyo it's just kind of really mixed and insane. It's been stable for a long time, and now it's in real flux. And we don't want to play this game like, what are these things worth? How much can we get for these, Cameron? You know, I don't want to do that. But clearly, the price you can get for prints is going up. Limited supply, huge demand because of the number of tourists coming in these days. Huge demand. And then things like that, the NHK programs boosting Shinhan. So I don't know. All I can do is we're setting the prices what we think are reasonable for what these things are worth in my view of what the market is. And of course, what it costs us to get them and buy them. I don't even want to talk about it because I'm not going to, you know, it could be, oh my God, Cameron said 10 years from now, there won't be anything like, they'll be worth a fortune, you know. But I don't want to do that because 1, it might not be true, and 2 is it's not our ethic, you know. So whatever. We think we've priced them fairly. They're selling well, which means the market seems to think our prices are sensible. That's all I can say. Do I need to zoom in? What am I doing?
Oh yeah, I guess so. Headed back to work.
Am I close?
Very. It looks good though.
On the other side of the coin, if Moko Hankan is successful here, and if we get Aimi-san back, and if we can really train a few more printers to this, and have a steady supply, that will help increase the supply, which would cap the prices a little bit. You know? So, I don't know. I don't know how much I can get. This is a deep, rich black one. I want to take it off, but it's got a lot of middle. You know, I've got to do this at an angle, so I can get the edges off. Whether I can get the middle, I don't know. Okay, I really don't want to spoil this. So let's slice here bit by bit on stripes.
I wonder if they can hear the hum of the computer's fans.
Well, the mic is over there. In fact, I changed the mic, by the way. I changed the setting on it. I realized it has, on that machine, the Zoom has a microphone at the front and a microphone at the back. And the setting at the moment is picking up X% from the front and X% from the back. In other words, you and me facing each other. So if we were a podcast situation, you could put that mic in the middle of the table and it'll pick up the 2 voices, one from each side. So. Are the fans roaring? The fans are roaring.
Yeah.
The fans here and the fans there.
The computer is working hard.
3 video streams. 3 video feeds. I shut down the browser in the back. I couldn't shut down Chrome.
Right.
Hey, look at that, got the first strip off. Let's try it again. I had in my mind it was something else I was supposed to talk about on the stream today, but I don't quite remember what it was. So tomorrow's stream will almost certainly be sizing upstairs. Because I have to do I have to do sizing for Kanasa and Kawaisa.
Thanks, Vivid KP says. I don't hear much fan, so I'm glad to hear it. Because here it's pretty loud.
That reminds me, Vivid KP, is that the lady who we wrote to the other day back
Yes,
and forth
yesterday,
about coming over
yep.
here?
Mm-hmm.
Are you? She's coming, right?
Yeah, I
is
think
this all
April
set up or whatever? I
1st.
didn't see a reply yet to the email I wrote yesterday, but presumably it'll be positive, I guess.
A new person, McJew, says, what is actually happening here? You're cutting off something from it, but why? It's a smudge of pigment in the corner to make it more beautiful. It's to simplify what's going on.
Just trying to rectify a printer's mistake. A careless printer left some smudging on the borders, and we're just trying to clean up the worst of the smudging. And we were mentioning this before, if these prints were all just going for sale in the shop, then I could basically ignore this, because people could see it. You know, before you pick it up, you see it. But these are going online, and I really don't want people to open a package from us and be faced with, oh my God, what is that? Because it's not on the scanned copy. Well, what we can do is pick the worst one for scanning. You know, scan it with these and say there are going to be blobs.
Yeah.
And then clean up some of it so that it's not. You know,
They'll be pleasantly surprised.
yeah. What's the word? On a promise bad.
Under promise, over deliver.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So I think we hadn't done that when Kitasan scanned these. I didn't chat with her about this, and I should have maybe brought it up. You know.
Velour. How long will the stream continue for today? About another 20 minutes, it looks like, if we go till the normal time.
Yeah,
Sometimes we end a little early, sometimes we end a little
I was going to try and get
late.
some wood carving done, but it looks like now I'm not going to be able to get that done, so I'm sorry. So today's stream won't have any real printmaking work in it. I'm sorry. You know. If you're new here, you have to go and look at some back issue streams to find out what we do. We do actually do, you know, wood carving, stuff like this here, but not today. So.
Vivid KP says, yes, I'm coming. So, great. We'll see you here. Is it a couple weeks, right?
I don't remember what it was, I'm sorry. I've got to use up the folder for this shit.
Keyline looks a bit broken. Is this intentional?
No, it's old and old blocks. These are blocks from whatever it is. What's here? Look at this corner. You can see the keys. This is not great. The key line here is a bit messed up. This is, what have we got here? Showa 13. I'm not going to do the math again, but
Probably 38.
1940s to show.
I think 8 was 33. So 5 more years, so probably 1938.
Oh, it came off nicely. I don't know what I can get off.
Thanks, John Becker. He said Showa 13, 1938. Yeah. He probably just keeps that on a.
And we should
window.
do the same. We should just stick a chart on the wall here so that we can say, oh, I know.
Gotta go over here to think. Oh, there.
We should. Okay, Kevin, on your list of things to do, please.
Laminate a big imperial date to empire, or no, I mean, sorry, emperor date to Western date. Chart, conversion chart.
And the new will be a few days. When are we hearing about the new year name? Is it this week, next week?
It's coming up
The
soon.
announcement is what? This is March. And end of the month or
It's
something.
either the end of March or is it end of April? I don't remember. No, I think March would make more sense.
And I came in, we got to start a pool. Nobody wants to bet with me, you know.
That's because I think you're right.
Fair enough. Okay. And the new emperor, the new era name. I know, of course, none of us know. This is the tightest kept secret
In the country right now.
In the country. They may have already decided that they've got their committee chosen and the people in the committee, and they've got a short list already of names. And these people are sworn to absolute secrecy. And what they're doing, they're a bit hamstrung because they're going to make the decision the same day. And what has to happen is it's this council of people, 6 or 7 or 8 people, a couple of university professors, an author, people like calligraphers and whatever like this. And then, so this council is going to meet with a short list, somehow make a decision, report it to the emperor first. So actually what they're going to have to do, the calligraphy, someone's going to have to do it. They do the calligraphy usually in 2 copies. They do version A, version B, and roll them up. And first somebody has to run through from the government office, get in a special black car, get zoomed over the palace, report to the emperor and the coming emperor. I guess maybe the report goes to the coming emperor first. I don't know how they're going to do this, of course. Here's what your name is going to be. And he has no choice. He's just going to say, good, thank you very much. Let's blah, blah, blah. And then the black car comes back to the government office. They then have to report to the cabinet, and the cabinet has to give the approval. So the cabinet members are all going to be in their penguin suits and gathered around waiting for this all to happen. And they've all been told, no smartphones, no nothing. And how do you tell the cabinet, can I check and see your pockets, pat you down to make sure nobody's got a phone? Because they are desperate that this news does not leak. Yeah. And everybody wants to leak it. And they're desperate that it won't leak. So the cabinet gives its approval, whatever, and then the press conference is held. The cameras are all waiting in the room, and I'm not sure who it'll be. The cabinet secretary was the one that did it last time, Obujsan. The cabinet secretary comes out to the dais there, makes his blah, blah, blah. The cameras are all ready. This is live TV. And he opens up the thing and says, the new era name will be whatever it is. And the funny thing happened last time. I remember this last time. Yeah. I remember this happened last time. This is, Heisei 0. And Obujsan opened this up, and it was beautiful, clean calligraphy. It was an era name that was easy to understand. It was nice and warm, and it went really, really well. They had prepared 2 copies of this, calligraphy copies. Obujsan, the cabinet secretary, the one he held up, he took it. This wasn't considered a document that should be preserved for the ages. So he took one of them, and nobody knows where the other one is. Well, it wasn't preserved. Nobody thought about it. It could have gone in a garbage can on the floor right there, because nobody thought about preserving it. And now there's this hunt. Where is this second copy?
The
I think the copy Obujsan showed was given to the prime minister, who at that time was Takeshita. And he took it, and now they can't find it. And Obujsan, I think, was the one who took the second copy. And he became prime minister later, died in the saddle, actually. So those 2 copies are gone. So what they've done in advance now, they've prepared for this. They're going to make the 2 copies, and it's already been announced that these 2 copies are going to go into the National Repository of famous pieces of paper and all that kind of stuff before they even start, so that this won't happen again. Yeah. And the previous ones, when it was Taisho Meiji, there was no TV cameras and press conferences and stuff like that, so there was no such announcement back in the old days. Right. But they're desperate to make sure that this doesn't leak. Yeah. So I don't know what they're going to do. Are they going to pat down the cabinet members and And that's happening. When is it? A few weeks.
People are saying it's either April 1st or May 1st. No one knows for sure.
No, it's not May. No, it's not that far down. May 1st is Golden Week. There's no way. This has all been arranged so that it's not happening to interfere with Golden Week to show.
I don't know. I thought that was the reason they were extending Golden Week, was to have
because of the ceremonies are happening. But I think they're announcing the name earlier so that software developers and calendar makers and normal people can do this.
Okay, so they're announcing.
So we're not talking about the change of your name.
Okay.
We're talking about the announcement of your name.
Okay, so that's what's maybe going on.
So, and I could be wrong with this, but it was in my newspaper last night. What we're going to do here.
So the announcement may be happening
we're talking
April 1st. And then the Ascension and Abdication are happening.
Ascension, So
a month later.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm sorry for the confusion. And that's been a real form of contention, because the more conservative members are saying no advance announcement.
Right.
Do the abdication, get the guy ready, announce the name, and away you go.
Yeah.
And practical people are saying, no, give us a name in advance so that we can get stuff ready. We've got software to write and whatever. Mm-hmm. I'm not getting much work done here, Father.
Stop talking. No more questions, guys. Just kidding.
This is supposed to be a Japanese woodblock printmaking stream.
Yeah.
Did you find it? What's the...
Not yet.
Well, Yomiuri Shimbun's been covering it.
Oh, okay, Yomiuri.
Era name announcement or something or whatever. Oh, hey, who's here? Evelyn.
Hey, was I not?
Good morning, good morning. It's that warm outside, is it?
Yeah.
No Eskimo jacket today. Did you come like that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Short sleeves? No, you
Oh, just
came like
rolled
this
up.
outside?
No, I had a jacket.
Oh, you've been upstairs. Okay,
Ah.
it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. It looks like you came from home. It's
no,
okay, it's
no, no,
okay.
no, it was
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
upstairs.
How you doing today?
Yes.
Coughing?
No, I don't think no. Maybe, I don't know.
Have a cold?
No, it always gets like this around this time.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
a
think
bit.
it's really professional.
Ah,
Sounds like it.
Just a little bit.
Okay.
good morning, invisible person.
Huh?
Said, good morning, invisible person.
Oh,
I couldn't see
Still a
you.
little bit shy. It's
should I
okay.
come
That's okay.
camera?
Yeah, it's okay. No pressure. No.
Up to you.
If you want to come say hello, go ahead. It's okay. The active camera at the moment is that camera is the active camera.
Yeah.
So if you came back here, I think they can.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know.
If you just stay,
There you go.
there's a.
Yeah.
This is Evelyn, isn't
Yeah,
it? So,
so show my face.
okay. She was a print party host starting from tomorrow.
All right.
She's doing well, actually. So yeah.
Good morning, visible person now. Welcome into the family.
Wow. No one's here at campsite. I thought it would have been.
No, I thought it would be easy too, but maybe I'm searching for the wrong keywords. Oh, there we go. Okay. New era name to be announced April 1.
The era name to be announced,
Yeah.
but this is not. This is not
Right.
the abdication. April 1st. This is the announcement. April 1st. So
And then
that's-
he abdicates April 30th, and then I guess that means
the ascension is that the same
is
day?
either
then?
going to be May or
It's got to be the same day.
yeah.
We can't.
oh no, May 1st. There's going to be no emperor for one day.
One night.
Or one night, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, they wouldn't even longer than that.
No.
But did you read the story about that? They've been arguing what to do about this for a long, long time, and some lawyers made the case for the fact that this is not the way to do it. And I think we chatted about this on the stream a while ago. The lawyers are making a case that he abdicates,
Yeah.
and that invalidates or annuls all the laws of the country. I mean, because he's the head of state,
Yeah.
and so the laws are there in his name.
Interesting.
This is not my viewpoint. This was lawyers were saying there's a problem here. When the next guy comes in the next morning, he now becomes the emperor, put the crown on his head, whatever it is they do here
Yeah.
in Japan. You know, we have the image of the queen and stuff being crowned. That anybody who commits a crime during the period
that
between
night.
those two things during that night, he will be able to make a legal defense in court that there was no law there for him to break. And again, this is not my viewpoint. I'm just, their lawyers were saying, let's not do it this way
Yeah.
because this leads to a potential problem in the courts.
Interesting.
I mean, this is not the British legal system, it's the Japanese legal system. But are all laws here promulgated in the name of the emperor? I don't know how it works. And if there is no emperor, does that mean there is no
Yeah.
law? Anyway, the case was made, and I guess they decided to not sweat that. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe common sense is going to rule here. I don't know.
Hope so. The law belongs to the government, not the state? Question mark. John Ducker.
I don't know. Again, I'm not a lawyer here, but there were serious lawyers who had made this point. So
Yeah.
presumably people who knew something about how it worked.
Interesting.
And of course, the Americans and the Brits and Japanese have different ways of doing this.
Yeah.
I mean, our image of the way it works in a place like Britain is they gather on the bedside and the old king He doesn't. It
Yeah.
says, long live the no, the king is dead.
The
long
king is
live
dead,
the
long
king. You
live
know,
the
just at
king,
that
yeah.
moment, the transition has been made at that moment.
Right.
you know. And then they have an actual coronation at some point down the road. You know.
But he's already the king, whether he's wearing a crown or not.
I guess that's the legal background to
Yeah.
it. So here in Japan, I don't know.
Yeah. When they're looking at now, they're only catching glimpses of it. What is this picture? Night view of Miyajima. It's night and rain at Miyajima,
Okay, that's
right?
easy.
We looked at it a little bit ago. But
Look up. Anybody wants to look at prints, I'm happy with that. I'm cool with that. Zoom out.
there you go. Right. And there's a deer on there.
Yeah, which again, Koitsu, you know, this is why he's a grade B artist. You know, no, really, whatever. I'm allowed to have my viewpoint about this. I
Yeah.
love this thing as an object of woodblock printmaking.
Yeah.
The deep paper, the colors, the tones. This is not world class art. Period.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's my viewpoint about it. We're a picture shop. We sell nice
Picture shop.
pictures.
Yeah.
Michelangelo would just, oh my God, you know, whatever. Sorry, that's my viewpoint. You know, I like some things. What he's done is they've riffed on Hasui, some of Hasui's earlier prints, before Watanabe put him in a straitjacket and sent him out to make pretty tourist pictures.
Yeah.
Some of Hasui's early stuff has some of these blurry, mottled, rainy.
Right.
If you look up Hasui songs like catalog number 1, 2, 3, 4 stuff,
Yeah.
they are fabulous.
Really?
They are fabulous. They are fabulous. They're totally different in all the other stuff we know of Hasui. And this is riffing on that kind of stuff. Well, look at this, they've actually blurred the thing here. Yoshida did this on some of his prints, but Hasui was the first guy who
Can you think of a specific one I could look up?
oh, no, I got myself in trouble.
Sorry.
now.
Nope. Keep working.
Okay, if you go to, open another browser window for yourself there, go to hanga.com,
Hanga.com.
and you'll find a pull-down menu with a
You
list
didn't
of
get
artists.
this.
Select artists, find Hasui.
Okay. There he is.
Might be on a K, might be on a H.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Hasui Kawase.
Yep. And then there will be, click on his name. The prints you see are not in order. So click on his name,
Okay.
search, here we are. And there's a list of prints,
By series or by publisher?
and I'm not sure, no, one of these, say, list of prints, reference galleries, series, and signatures. And one of those is in chronological order.
Okay. Looks like this one.
Yeah, there we are. Bingo, 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 bingo.
Okay.
Pick that up.
I'll just open the first couple in separate tabs so I can see what they're. Huh.
And this is totally, totally different from the Hasui that we know.
Wow.
If you could, so whatever, we talked about it, so drop a link or something.
Yeah. Okay. I will.
The first one specifically, it's blurred. It's you know, it's like an artist who is painting with the thing. どうぞどうぞいいよはいはいno problem まだ準備
Have you met?
ですからいいよどうぞどうぞゆっくりやってご覧ください。
和田林
あはい
和田林志保です。浅香先生からご紹介いただいて、
そうか。先日電話あったんですね。じゃあちょっと待ってください。なぜか今ちょっと放送中です。
はい。生放送。
今ネットだけ見てますよ。
逃げましょう。
あと10分ぐらい。ちょっと入って待っててください。ごめんなさい。9時半までですからもうちょっと待っててください。
Wonderful. People recommended by Asaka Sensei.
So. We're trying to do 6 things at once here, all of us.
Sorry. I finally sent the link. They're like, where's the link, guys? Okay. Sorry. Got distracted.
And again, I was throwing in my opinion there. I mean, these early works of Hasui, they are more artistic. Clearly, there's somebody playing with the idea of woodblock prints.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't carve them himself. This is made by the Watanabe craftsman.
Right.
But presumably, the Hasui had this input on how to make some.
This looks very, very modern to me.
Whatever, this was a guy, what's the date on this? 1919 or something. This is the very earliest time of Shinhanga. Bartlett was working here, Yoshida was doing some experiments here and here. So Hasui could have been a groundbreaking, world-leading artist.
Yeah.
And what happened was, the other way around. Watanabe said, okay, we're going to publish these. Some tourists must have come in and said, oh, I love the temple and whatever.
Yeah.
And Watanabe went for the money.
Yeah.
Hasui said, yes, sir. And away they went. And all we have is 40 years of, it's not tourist schlock. They're beautiful, beautiful prints, but the guts were ripped out of it. the guts
It
were ripped
changed
out of it.
fast. 1919, so this is still
We
the
still
older
have that's
style.
that's
This
still
is-
okay. That's okay.
and
This
then-
is misty. This is artistic. Even that one,
Okay.
there's still some blurriness. And then
there's
here
some
we go.
blur.
And now we start to clamp in and make cleaner, smoother, flatter color.
And this looks very much like the one you just worked on.
Oh, so these are still interesting. The
Yeah.
first dozen or so.
Okay.
And then boom,
it just changes.
down
Yeah.
came. So I have really mixed feelings about Watanabe. I don't know. He glorious ideas. He set in motion the whole Shinhanga thing. You know, it's great, wonderful. He kept his people working at a very super high quality. Everything was wonderful. But
Yeah.
he went for the easy buck.
Got it. The link doesn't work.
why not?
But I
What do you mean the
typed
link
it
doesn't
down. They said, I don't know. I'm
Well,
just
tell
gonna.
them how to find it.
Yeah. I'll just directly copy it from here.
What did we do wrong?
Why didn't that work? Okay. Hanga.com. Let's open it again. Hanga.com, select artist.
Select
See.
artist Hasu Kasi.
It's going to load for a little bit. Then click his,
Click his
name,
name.
Then list of prints.
Yes. And away you go. And start at the top of the list.
Yeah. So,
So is that the first print?
Twitch assumes it was HTTPS, and I couldn't tell from my browser which one it was.
Uh-huh.
So I wrote it without HTTP or HTTPS. So Twitch added an S, and then it broke the link.
I see. And Hanga.com is not a secure server.
Right.
Ah, so okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Interesting.
Anyway, it's hugely interesting website. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, this has been around from the year dot. This is one of the things that when I first came on the web, I thought, oh my God, I should do this. I should make a list of gathered prints and gather
Yeah.
stuff from all these artists, and life got in the way. But this is a cool resource.
Very cool.
Really cool resource.
Yeah.
It's sort of it isn't growing anymore. It sort of stopped some years ago, and I don't think it's being updated now. But it is well organized, lots of information.
Jed Henry's designs in here?
No, this hasn't been. This is real stuff.
Oh, sorry.
I got stuff mixed up here. We have like this. You've already got that one. So there it is. Okay, look, we've got a ton of things to do. There's 3 full print parties today. I've got to be hosting this morning too. I think we have to get going, Cameron. I didn't do any carving today, but whatever it is.
Sorry, guys.
I have to get busy. It's a huge schedule. Today's Wednesday, tomorrow's Thursday. I will almost certainly be upstairs on the 3rd floor throwing glue around, for better or for worse. It'll be a sizing stream tomorrow because Kanai-san needs papers Saturday. And if I do it Friday, that's not enough time to
To also
do
ship.
it.
Yeah.
Ship it to her. So
Okay.
other than that, we're going well. We're
I
having
guess
fun.
we face this way now.
Yeah. It's okay.
All right.
So back then, same time, same place, same time, same place, slightly same place tomorrow. See you then.
Okay.
Sorry about
Thanks
the
a lot,
whatever.
everyone.
Did we see anything interesting? I don't know. Who
I think
knows?
so.
Whatever.
Okay.
See you next time.
Yeah.